Hello students, in this video we shall discuss about political parties. We have come across political parties several times. We notice the role of political parties in the rise of democracies, in the formation of constitutional designs, in electoral politics, and in the making of governments and also in the working of governments. And then we also glanced at political parties as vehicles of federal sharing of power and as negotiators of social divisions in the arena of democratic politics. We have seen that how important the political parties have been, and especially there has been a rise in political parties in representative democracies. We, in this chapter, are going to take a close look at the nature and working of political parties, especially in our country. We'll begin this chapter by asking two common questions. Why do we need political parties? And the next question, how many parties are good for a democracy? And in this particular video, we are going to focus on these two major questions. And then students, in the next video, we shall be discussing about the national parties of India and the regional parties, or what we call state parties in a country. And then finally, we'll conclude the chapter by understanding that what is wrong with political parties, what are the challenges to political parties, and what can be done for reforming the political parties. So let us proceed further. Now, first, we need to understand that why do we need political parties? What is the requirement? And for that, the first topic which we need to understand is that what is the meaning of political parties, or what are the features of political parties? So, the answer to this question is that what is a political party? Is that a political party is a group of people who come together to contest elections. Election, as we know, it is a mechanism, it's a procedure. And then these people, the party which wins, they form the government. They hold power in the government. They agree on some policies and programs for the society with a view to promote the collective good. We all know that any society is diverse. There are people belonging to different class, and if we look at our country, we have people from different castes. So these political parties, they come to a common program. They decide upon some common programs and policies which is going to benefit the people, the society, the nation. Parties, they reflect the fundamental political divisions in a society. So basically, that is how the parties, they work. And as we know, like if we look at, our country and the situation, the kind of situation we have, the kind of political parties we have. There's so many, this particular party, it has this, the ideology. Maybe some party, they are caste driven. Some parties, they are class driven. They work for the people of the lower class or the working class, you can say. Some parties are, are basically, they take religion as one of the main concerns. So that is how, a party is known by what part it stands for which part it stands for, which policies it supports, and whose interests it upholds. So that is what, as I gave you example, we all know that, some of the parties, they're very, very clear about their ideology, that what they have to, whom they have to support and for whom, they have to work. Many parties, they even, they work for all the class, all the people of the country. Basically, so these are the different parameters. Okay. Now, as we move forward, we understand that there are three components of political party. What are they? First, the leaders, the people who lead the party. They are the face of the party. And then the active members. There are so many members who maybe they are not leaders, but they are supporters. They are the people who work for the party. And then the third component are the followers. Okay, so you must be looking. When we look around, we see that there are so many people who are ardent followers, who are very strong supporters of one particular party. Okay, so these are the three components of a political party. Now we move on to understand that what are the functions of political parties? What are the different, work which political parties do? So political parties fill political offices and exercise political power. They are the people who rule. They are the executives. They are the ones who implement the laws which the legislature has made. Parties do so by performing a series of functions which are mentioned below. So let's see what are these functions. Now, the first function, as you can see, is to contest elections. First function of the political parties is they contest elections, and that is how they start performing. They start doing the work. They shape public opinion. That means basically, the parties, they have got their ideology, the people who follow or who vote for these, the members of these parties. So that is how do they follow? Because the parties, they shape public opinion. People believe that, okay, fine, this political party is going to help us. They're going to do good for us. And that is why people choose to vote them. They help people to access government machinery and welfare schemes. Yes, of course, it's not only the parties who are ruling, even the opposition plays a very important role. Now, parties which lose the election play the role of opposition. Yes, students, a good democracy requires a very strong opposition party, or many parties who are in opposition. It all depends in the type of party system a country has, but whoever is in opposition also has to be very strong, because that is how basically the people who are ruling, the ruling party, will not take decisions as per their whims and fancies. The opposition is there to voice if something wrong is being done by the ruling party. Now the next function is the political parties they form and run the government at different levels. Okay, now if we take example, in a federal structure, usually many a times, as in a country we see that it's not important that at the central level, if at the union level or the central level, the government, the same government has to be in the states also. So at the different levels, they different parties may rule. And next function, they play a decisive role in formulating laws of the country. Yes, we all know, we have seen, down the years, if you look at how our constitution was made, or you look at any other country, political parties, they have a say, they are representative of the people. And naturally, if there a kind of, you can say amendment has to be brought or some new law has to be incorporated. So what is it? Where is it done? It is in the legislature. Who are the part of the legislature? The executives. And they are certainly the party members. And they play a very important role in formulating laws. And then the last one, they put forward different policies and programs. Yes. Basically, as we know that the policies and the programs which is, going to benefit the people, this is how the political parties, they formulate policies and programs, and it is implemented by the members of the political parties, the ruling party, of course. Suppose it is not appreciated, it is not, welcome by the opposition, by the people. So many a times opposition, it raises alarm, it raises its voice. As we can see, there was so much of discontentment when this farm bill was passed, and it became a new, okay, bill was after year passed. Okay, fine. So basically, how the programs and policies have to be implemented, that also is, it's a very important part of the function of the political parties. And then we need to see, we need to understand that how many parties are there, basically how many parties should be there. So let's see. Well, there are, how many parties do we need? Next, students, we'll see that what is the necessity of political parties? Why political parties are necessary? Now, we need political parties because they perform all the functions which we just discussed. Apart from this, political parties help in representing different views on various issues to the government. Okay, so various, basically, there are so many issues, as I just told you, that maybe the government has taken up some policy or program, but the other political parties, the opponents, okay, they don't approve of it. So then again, the political parties, they represent different views. If they differ, many times there is a consensus. They agree to some, some issues, and they don't have to push the government for that. But many a times when there are differences, so they are representing those differences, those issues. They bring various representatives together so that a responsible government could be formed. Yes. Many a times the party which gets majority, fine. People have given their mandate. People have given their decision. Okay. And sometimes different types, representatives, various representatives, they come together, they form the government. Then they work as a mechanism to support or restrain the government, make policies, justify or oppose them. So again, this again is the same, what we have discussed, that they are basically, sometimes they will support if that is for the benefit of the people, if it is everybody is agreeing upon it, then fine. Otherwise, if restraint is stopped, to oppose, to protest, if it is not seen as a welcome, if it is, they think that it is not beneficial for the people, it is not good for the people, and then of course, next is political parties fulfill the needs that every representative government has. Okay, so that is how. This is, political parties together. As I already told you, those who are making the policies, those who are like the ruling party members, while those who are in opposition, they all get together and everybody has an important say. Okay? Now, next we move on to understand, and that is, how many parties should we have? Now let's find the answer to this question. Now see, students, we have one party system, we have two party system, and we have multi-party system. Okay, now first let us see what is one party system. In some countries, only one party is allowed to control and run the government. These are called one party systems. This system is not considered as a good option for democracy. Example is China. We have already done about this in class 9. I'm sure you remember that. We know that in China there's a single party, and if there are 8 associated parties also, they have to take permission. If anybody wants to contest election, they have to take permission from Communist Party of China, then only they can. So people don't have alternatives. They have to vote for that one particular party. So for democracy, it's not a good system, single party system. Next is two-party system. In some countries, like power usually changes between the two main parties. And for example, the United States of America and United Kingdom, they have got two-party system. Okay, so basically the Republican and the Democrats in United States of America, the Conservatives and the Labour Party in United Kingdom. So these are known as two-party system. Now, the third is multi-party system. Now, if several parties compete for power and more than two parties have a reasonable chance of coming to power, either on their own strength or in alliance with others, we call it a multi-party system. Now, example is India, our own country, India. Okay, so you already know we have a multi-party system. There are many parties. And I think in a diverse country like India, multi-party system really works. We are going to do that also. We are going to understand, because see, why? Because the regional parties, they cater to the requirement of the regions. And so the emergence of regional parties since 1990 onwards, as we did in the last chapter, that really has helped India in many ways to strengthen democracy. Okay? And when several parties in a multi-party system join hands for the purpose of contesting elections and winning power, it is called an alliance or a front. Okay? Like the NDA and UPA in India. Right now, we have a alliance partners, BJP-led NDA government. It was a pre-poll alliance. Before the elections only, they had an alliance, and when they came to power, though BJP had majority, they could have formed government on their own, but they decided to go for this front or alliance. UPA also ruled, that is basically Congress-led party. And then their combination, there are many parties who come together and they form an alliance or front. Okay, so this is how we come to the end of this particular video. Thank you so much, students, for understanding, for listening to the video, and for watching the video. In the next video, we shall continue the discussion of political parties. Thank you once again. Goodbye.